Hey everyone, my name is Marcus. I'm a junior majoring in sport management here at NC State. Some of the things I'm involved with, I'm an ambassador for my college. I'm a peer mentor, and I was a part of a new organization that started called the PRT Seminar Series, where we bring in sport people from the sport industry and have them talk to us for a little while and just talk about their jobs and all the different things that they do. So before we get started, let me just remind you all that our last application deadline is January 15th. So make sure to get your application in by then. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is just Raleigh in general. It's the capital of North Carolina, and we have tons of arts, museums, sports, shopping, tons of things. Like for example, some of the arts things, we have an art museum right up the street. I think it's about 5 minutes away. And some of the sports teams we have of course NC State athletics around here. We have the Hurricanes that are right up the street at PNC Arena. So many different things to take part of. So one of the malls that we have is Crabtree Mall. There's so many different things in Crabtree Mall that we have so many different stores. We got like a Banana Republic, a, a North Face store, just anything. A lot of nice things in there. And here on NC State's campus, our main campus, that's where most of our classrooms are held, and pretty much all of our dorms are. And then on Centennial campus, we have a new dorm called Wolf Ridge and the Oval, which is another place to eat at. So next, let's talk about housing for a little bit. Some of the dorms, we have three different styles of dorms on campus. We have suite style, we have hall style, and then we have kind of like a apartment type, motel type style. Most of the suite styles are on central campus, main campus, and then our two apartment style dorms are kind of um, kind of on the way back from campus. Some of the differences with the suite, there are 8 to 10 people in a suite, and you share two bathrooms, so like two showers, two sinks, things like that. On a hall style, there's one hall and there's one big bathroom for everyone on that hall to share, and the bathrooms are not co-ed or anything like that. But so everyone on the hall shares a bathroom, and there's a few showers in there, maybe like 6 or 7 showers in there, and there's a shower on every single hall, so you don't have to use another hall shower. And then with the motel type style dorms, there's two people who share a bathroom, and the bathroom is actually in their room. So you clean it yourself. You make sure your room is clean like that, and that's the difference between the suite and the hall style. The suite and the hall style bathrooms are actually cleaned for you by our cleaning service with housing. And with these dorms comes a few living and learning villages that we have on campus, like Impact, Honors, Honors Village, Scholars Village. And they're just different ways for you to get to meet people on campus, and they're all related to something specific. So if you want to do, like for example, the Impact Leadership Village deals with leadership, so if you feel like you need to work on being a leader better, then that's something that you might want to look into. Other things that are important about campus is our safety. We have a safety escort who they're open all night, and they'll pick you up anywhere that you are, and take you to where you need to be. So, if you don't feel safe alone at night walking by yourself or anything like that. And we also have these poles around campus that have a button on there with a blue light on the top. And if you push that button, it'll connect you to the NC State Police Department, and they'll be able to talk to you and see what's going on if you feel like you're in danger or someone's following you or anything like that. And if you keep walking and press the button that is closest to you, they'll be able to triangulate your position and kind of meet you to see where you're going to go up next. And with this, transportation, which is very important on the college campus because everyone doesn't have a car. So, we have our bus system, the Wolfline system, which is open to anyone, all the public, and it takes you anywhere from a 5 to 10 mile radius around campus. We also have the CAT bus system, which is like the city bus, the Raleigh city bus, can take you anywhere to Raleigh, take you to the mall, to the hospital. downtown Raleigh. And then we also have the Triangle Transit, which is free. Both of these bus systems are free with the Go Pass that you can get from state, from our transportation office. And with the Triangle system, that can take you to Chapel Hill. It can take you to Duke. You know, if you have friends that you want to visit at another school, that's how you would be able to get there if you don't have a vehicle. So next, let's talk about dining. We have three different dining halls on campus. We have Fountain Dining Hall, Clark Dining Hall, and Case Dining Hall. Fountain and Clark are where most students go, and then Case is usually for athletes. It's open for breakfast and lunch for any other student. In order to eat at these dining halls, you can either pay cash or you can get a meal plan. And there are a few different types of meal plans that we have. We have a semester meal plan, which is like you get a certain amount of meals per semester, so like 120 meals per semester, and you can use them at any time you want, or 150 or something like that. Then you have a block, which is like you have a certain amount of meals per week. So my last year, my sophomore year, I had 12 meals a week, and you get to use them whenever you want to, as many times, and then it resets on Saturday. And then we also have the unlimited plan, which is like the freedom plan, so you can eat as many times as you want to all day at any meal. And then you have an equivalency for each meal, which means you can eat at other places around campus. And some of the other dining options on campus, we have the atrium, which holds places like Chick-fil-A. There's a wrap place in there. There's pizza in there. There's a Chinese place in there as well. We have Tally, a newly opened Tally Student Center, which it has like a grill in there. There's pizza in there as well. There's a deli shop, and then there's a Mexican type place in there as well. And then on Centennial campus, we have a place called the Oval, which is really new, and it's kind of like Tally. It has like a grill type thing and pizza and things like that. So next, let's talk about campus activities. First, let's start with our athletics. We're a Division I school. You know, we have football, basketball, baseball, soccer, all those different type of sports. And our tickets, in order to get tickets for these sports, for the main sports, football and basketball, there's like a lottery type system. So if you want a ticket for a certain game, you enter your name into the lottery, and after a couple of days, they'll let you know whether you got a ticket or not. And with other sports like volleyball and softball and soccer, you can just go to the games with your student ID and just swipe in. And with that, if you go to like volleyball games and different games like that, you build up loyalty points. And with those loyalty points, they help you to better get a chance to get a ticket for a basketball game or a huge football game. So a lot of people, they want to go to the game where we play Carolina, UNC Chapel Hill. So they'll go to a lot of softball games and build up their points so they'll have a better chance to get a ticket to this game. We have, I think it's over 600 plus student organizations on campus. That's what I would like to say. Um, like I said, some of the organizations I'm a part of, I'm a peer mentor. I'm an ambassador for the College of Natural Resources. And, we have a club for anything that you want to do on campus. You think of it, there's a club that we could do. And if we don't have it, then you can start it very easily. It's really easy to get started with that. Our Greek life, we're about 10% Greek. We have honors fraternities and sororities. We have social, and then we have also service fraternities as well. Some of the intramural sports we have like basketball, we have flag football. With basketball, there's 3-on-3, and then there's 5-on-5 in the spring as well. So you can play basketball year round. I actually think 3-on-3 basketball is going on right now. We play that inside of Carmichael on the courts there. Flag football, that's outside. We play that on Miller Fields. There's two different kinds of flag football as well. I think it's like an 8-on-8 and like a 5-on-5, something like that. We have soccer, we have softball, we have volleyball. Any sport you can think of, there's probably an intramural team for it, which is great because it keeps the students involved and it keeps us busy, and it keeps us in shape and all of that. And it's just a great time. You meet tons of people there. It's so much fun. And now let's talk about community involvement with CSLEP. So that's kind of like service type things. Volunteer. If you want to volunteer somewhere, go to CSLEPs. That's the place for it. Like Service Raleigh, we do tons of volunteer activities all throughout the year. Anything that you can think of, we would do. So now let's talk about academics. Some of the colleges that we have on campus, let me just name a few. Engineering, which is what everyone knows. We have CALS, PCOM, College of Natural Resources, College of Sciences, Design, Textiles. So those are some of the academic colleges that we have. Oh, and first year college as well. With study abroad, if you want to go to, let's say you want to go to China and study, I don't know, you want to study psychology in China or something like that, you could do it. If you go through the study abroad office, they'll be able to get you to where you want to go, and they'll have someone, and it's for credit, of course, so you'll have a great time and you'll still be getting credit for class as well. And undergraduate research, that's a big part of our campus. We do a lot of research here. A lot of people do research. A lot of students do research, so that's definitely something that you'd like to look in, that you should look into. And internships. The Career Development Center is where you can go to find an internship or a co-op. If you want to, find an internship on campus, then you could go to them and they'll be able to get you in contact with someone. Or if you want to find an internship off campus as well. And they have a site called ePack where we can, make a profile, upload your resume, kind of upload some things about you, and you can get matched with like companies, and you can get job offers on there, and they can see your profile and talk to you if they feel like you all would be a good fit for each other. Um, Let me go back and talk about FYC for a little bit real quick. I know I skipped over that really quick. So you come to college and you don't exactly know what you want to do, that's okay, because there's a lot of other people like that who don't know what they want to do, and this is why we have first year college. We're able to, bring in faculty and staff that help students to figure out what they want to do. So you'll take different classes. You'll be required to go to a few events outside of what you normally do to try to get kind of a mindset of what you would like to do when you graduate, and then you'll be able to go from there. So a lot of people, they're in the program their first year, and then they're able to transfer out of that and matriculate to something else that they want to do. And then some people stay in the program for 2 years because they're not as sure, but that's okay. College is all about figuring out what you want to do and what's best for you. And then with the Honors Village, let me go back to talk about Honors and Scholars Village one more time. Any major can participate in these living and learning villages. It's not secluded in anyone. The difference between honors and scholars, honors is about 75% research and 25% enrichment, and scholars is the opposite of that. It's about 75% enrichment and 25% research. Okay, so now let me open it up for questions. Our first question is, NC State is a big school. Is it overwhelming? No, I wouldn't say it's overwhelming. I think after a while, when you really get accustomed to the campus and you get to know where you're going, and you get to know where the classrooms are, and where the best places to eat at and the best place to hang out and all of that. You get used to it really quickly. Even though it's a huge campus, the walking distance is not as big as people think it is. Really, I feel like the longest walk that I would make is 10 to 15, well, maybe 20 minutes across campus to get from one side of campus to the other. But that's why we have buses. You don't have to walk across campus if you don't want to. Our next question is, are suite style dorms the best? I wouldn't say a certain type of dorm is the best. I would say uh, different people have different preferences. So my freshman year, I stayed in Bowen Hall, which is a suite style, and I liked it because I got to know the guys in my suite really well, and we're still close today. I still hang out with them all the time. So it's a better way to get a closer relationship with a smaller amount of people. But with the hall style, it's you're able to meet a more people than what you would in a suite style, in my opinion. Okay, our next question is, will AP classes help my chances getting into the school? Well, I would say yes. Definitely the harder classes that you take would increase your chances. We're looking for well-rounded students, so students who have great grades, students who volunteer, students who have a lot of extracurricular activities, those who play sports. We're looking for all of that type of stuff, so not just one thing. Our next question is, can you expand upon the philosophy program? Would it be smart for me to double major in philosophy and political science? What is the difference between public policy and political science? With that question, I would say to email us at undergrad-admissions@ncsu.edu, and one of our counselors here will definitely be able to answer that question for you. Since I'm just a student, they'll be able to answer that question way better than I could. Our next question is, do you have a criminal justice program at NC State? Yes, we actually do have a criminal justice program here at NC State. Um, and also with that, if you want to email our counselors again at the undergrad-admissions@ncsu.edu, they'll be able to answer that question for you. And if you have any other additional questions to go along with that, they'll be able to help you out. Our next question is, what was your GPA and test scores when you were accepted? Um, I don't even remember what my test scores were when I was accepted here. That was a long, long, long time ago, it feels like to me. But what I would say to that is make sure that you continue to do your best in school, and make sure you study all the time and get the best grades possible, and that's going to increase your chances of being accepted to here. So, do we have any other questions? We do. Our next question is, what is the deadline for applying for 2014? The deadline is January the 15th. Make sure you all apply. Get all your information in by then. Any more questions?
Talk about your favorite part in campus, or like what you like the best.
Okay, here's another question. Talk about scholarships. Okay, yeah, let's talk about scholarships. That's a great idea. So there are tons and tons and tons of scholarships that you can get. Not even just NC State specific scholarships. If you get on the internet and just type in scholarships, there will be so many options for you to look at. And I would say apply for as many as you can. I know it's a long process, and it may take a long time and you might not get all of them, but it's definitely worth it. Just to be able to come out of school and not have any debt and not have any loans or anything to worry about, that's going to be a great thing. So I would say apply for as many scholarships as you can. If you're looking for a more NC State based scholarship, of course we have the Park Scholarship, which everyone knows about. We also have the Caldwell Fellowship, which is another scholarship for starting with freshmen who are in their second semester. And then if you go on our website, our NC State website, and you just search scholarships, I think we have a list of all the scholarships that we offer for freshmen and incoming freshmen, and you can find out about them there. Our next question is, could you say a little bit about how sports work at NCSU? Uh, okay, let me talk about I'll talk about our athletics team, Division One. I'll talk about club sports, and then I'll talk about intramural sports a little bit more. So with our athletics, um, Division One athletics, that's a definitely a whole nother story. You know that you would have to go through your coaches and things like that to find out more about that. With club sports, that's more of a step down. I wouldn't say a step down from our Division One athletics, but they still travel. You know, they travel to different schools. Like you all could play Duke or you could play Chapel Hill in a club sport. And there's still a championship for that as well. And we have tryouts on campus. So when you first come to campus, there will be something called RecFest, where all of the club sports and all the intramural type things will be in the gym, and you'll be able to sign up and find out about when tryouts are, when you would have practice, how do you try out, what do you need to try out, and all that type stuff. And then with intramural sports, once you get on campus, you'll get an email whenever a new sport, whenever a new sport is about to start up, you'll get an email saying, "Hey, get your team ready and come play the sport." Okay, our next question is, I'm interested in going to vet school once I finish my undergraduate studies. Is it best to major in animal science, biology, zoology, or what is the best course of action? With that, since I'm just a student and I'm not majoring in that stuff, I would say to email us at undergrad-admissions at ncsu.edu, and one of our counselors will be able to help you with that.
Talk about those advising centers, like pre-vet, pre-med, pre-law.
All of the and okay, so with our pre-law, pre-vet, they all have their own advising centers. Just to help you figure out, is this what I want to do? How do I go about this? What classes do I need to take? So when you get on campus, they will be able to direct you in the right direction. Our next question is NC State and HBCU. No, NC State is not in HBCU. It's actually called a PWI, which is a predominantly white institute. Okay. The next question is, how are tests in college? Has your studying increased significantly from high school to college? I would say yes, very much so. There is so much studying that goes on now, and that's takes up so much of my time studying, 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 studying. It's because when you're in college, it's more work. More of the work is put on you, and it's not put on your teachers. They expect you to be able to learn on your own, and not have them teach you everything. But with that being said, they're still there as a resource. So if you're unsure about something and you don't know the answer to something, go to your professors. That's what they have office hours for. Office hours, they have a set time to where they have to be in their office, and it's for them, for students to come in there, ask them questions about class, talk to them, anything that you need help with. That's what your professors are there for. Don't be scared because you're on a college campus and you might have heard things about professors. They're mean, they're rude, things like that. No, that's what they're there to help you, and that's what you need to use them for. How to avoid freshman 15 at NCSU? That's a good question. Well, we have a great gym. Carmichael Gym is great for that. We have a couple fitness rooms. We have an indoor track. We have basketball courts. We have tennis courts outside. We have a swimming pool. So, working out is definitely a great way to, keep from getting that freshman 15, and also eating healthy. Even though you're in college and you eat late at night, there's pizza places all up the road, things like that. It's always good to eat as healthy as possible. Make sure you're eating the right things at the right time. Our next question is, are you Greek? Do you recommend Rush? Well, I'm in an honors fraternity for my college. I'm not in a social fraternity, so I wouldn't know much about Rush. But I feel like if you do your research on the different organizations and make sure that it's something that you want to be a part of before you jump into something, because you don't want to be stuck with something that you don't like to do. Our next question is, if I did not place out of a lot of classes, would it be smart for me to double major in college? You know, like I said before, I'm a student, so I wouldn't really know about that stuff. So if you just email us here at the undergraduate admissions office, our counselors will definitely be able to answer that question for you. Next question is, if you plan to try out for a club team, should you contact someone before you arrive on campus? Would trials begin before the school year starts? No, I don't think that trials would begin before the school year starts. It really just depends on the club. So I would say as soon as you get on campus, kind of figure out, that's what RecFest is for. So go to RecFest, and find that club, figure out when their tryouts are, figure out who you need to get in contact with. So basically as soon as you get on campus is when I would start to do that. Okay, orientation. Okay, our next question is, can you talk about freshman orientation? When do you register for the first semester courses? Okay, that's a good question. That's actually when you register for your first semester courses. So when I went to orientation, it was over a 2 day span. We stayed on campus. The first day we were on campus all day, and then we stayed the night. And then the next day we were on campus for about half the day, I think, till about like 1 or 2 o'clock, something like that. The first day there are a lot of different events, just to get you accustomed to campus. You take tours, you have different learning sessions, things like that. Excuse me. On the second day, that's when you pick out your classes. So you have a couple more events the second day in the morning, and then you'll be taken to one of the buildings on campus, probably where most of your classes will be held, and then and then you'll register for your classes there, and there'll be someone to actually help you register for your classes when you first come to campus. Okay. Our next question is, what help does NC State offer for people with disability? NC State offers a lot of help with people with disability. We have disability services here on campus. So if you register with them, if you have an issue with taking a test at a certain time, they'll be able to find a way for you to take that test at another time or get the correct accommodations for you. Next question is, as a student, have you maintained a budget throughout college? Uh, I'm gonna be honest. No, I haven't personally. It's something that I am working on right now, actually getting a budget. I feel like it would be a great thing for me to do, because in college, it's hard to not, I would say it's hard to not spend money at certain times, because you want to have fun, you want to do things like that. But a budget is a great thing to start off with. So if you're already on a budget now, I would say stick to it as best as possible, and you will save so much money. Okay, next question is, do you actually see athletes around campus, and are they friendly? Yes, you see athletes all the time. I actually lived with a football player last year. We hung out all the time, and they're in the gym. You see them in the dining halls. Yeah, they are definitely friendly. They're just like any other student here. You have to come to campus, and don't think that just because they're athletes at a Division I school, they think they're better than you or something like that. No, there's still students here. They're still coming here, to get an education and things like that. So y'all are definitely the same. They're great people. Do we have any other questions? What is my major? My major is sport management, and I plan to minor in business administration and law and justice. So that's what I'm working on now. I'm taking a few political science classes right now for my law and justice minor, and then next semester I plan to take a couple of business classes like marketing and things like that to try to get that out of the way as soon as possible. And let me talk about minors for a little bit since I just said that. Um, when you come to college, you have your major or whatever, and there is maybe you want to be more specific. You want to do something more specific. We have a ton of minors that you can check on. I would say do research about that. A lot of companies look at that and say, oh, they have a minor. They're more specifically oriented to do this, and instead of doing something else, they might like that more. So I would say, definitely look into getting a minor. Our next question is, how's the food at NCSU? I would say the food is, like any other college campus. It's good. My favorite place to eat on campus, probably, I would say probably Tally Student Center, just because of all the options they have, and it's so new. So, I feel like the food is it's great there. The pizza, probably my favorite place in there is probably I think it's called like Red Sky Pizza or something like that. And it's so good. I actually had that last night for dinner. Next question is, do you want to go to law school? If so, any tips? Yes, I actually do want to go to law school. I plan to go right after I graduate from here. Any tips? I would say take some political science classes as early as you can to make sure that that's actually what you want to do, because a lot of people, they'll come in and say, oh, I want to go to law school. And people say, well, have you taken any political science classes? Do you know about law? And they'll say no. And then they get to law school and they may not like it or anything like that. So I would say just to make sure that's what you want to do, because that's a big commitment to go to law school, go to school for what 3 to 4 more years. That's a big commitment. So that I would say just make sure that is exactly what you want to do. Next question is, when can we visit your school and when is open house? We had open house back in October, but you can still visit the school if you want to take a personal visit. If you want to contact, I think it's the Joyner Visitor Center. If you give them a call, they'll be able to set you up with an on-campus tour, and uh,
Also schedule it through your Wolfpack.
and you can also schedule tours through your Wolfpaw account as well. And I would say that's a great idea to take a tour before you even come to campus. Make sure you take a tour and make sure you like the campus and things like that. It's a great campus. I love it. Our next question is, what do you look for in an applicant? Well, I would say our applicants need to be well-rounded. So what I mean by well-rounded is GPA, high GPA, ACT, SAT scores. They're, I would say, around, for the SAT scores, we're looking for about a 600 per section. We consider that competitive. ACT scores, the average was about a 28 last year. I would say make sure you have a lot of volunteer activities, extracurriculars. If you play sports, put that on your application. If you're team captain, definitely put that on your application. They like to see that a lot. Our next question is, have you dined in at the place on campus where you dress up and get etiquette tips? I personally have not done there. Um,
The college of management has some programs like that. You'd have to ask who the specific sponsor was.
um, if there was a specific sponsor, I know the College of Management has a couple of those type of programs. If you wanted to contact them and see what that is all about, that is definitely a good idea to do that. That'll definitely help you out. Next question is, what city are you all in? No, we are in Raleigh, North Carolina, located in Raleigh, about 5 minutes away from downtown Raleigh. I would say it's within walking distance, so really close to downtown Raleigh. Next question is why political science? Statistics show philosophy. Well, you could take philosophy classes too. I was just saying political science, just in general, just because those are the type of classes that I'm taking right now. But I would say, yeah, philosophy as well. So just make sure that you do your research on your own. Basically, is what I'm saying. Just don't let anyone, tell you to take this type of class or take this type of class. Just do your research, and if you like these types of classes better, I say go for it. Our next question is, do you like having Hillsborough Street being beside campus? Yeah, I like Hillsborough Street being beside campus. I like it because there's a ton of food places on campus that stay open really late. So a lot of the pizza places stay open till like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So when you live on campus and you're hungry and the dining halls are closed, it's a great way to go and hang out with some friends late at night and just hang out for a little while. It's pretty great. Pretty good, and it's a great way to get from one side of campus to the other too. If you don't want to, walk all the way through campus, you could take the bus down Hillsborough Street, walk down Hillsborough Street if it's a nice day outside. So it's a good thing that it's there.
You were talking about the hike homecoming week, like school spirit.
Well, and since you said Hillsborough Street, let me talk about homecoming for a little. First, let me talk about Packapalooza, which is at the beginning of the year. It's a huge event, and we take up pretty much all of Hillsborough Street, from State's part of Hillsborough Street, and we close it off so no cars can go down there. And a lot of different organizations and things like that set up tents and booths, and there's games and there's a concert out there, and it's just a great time. During homecoming week, it's the same type of ordeal. We have the homecoming parade is out there, so there are a bunch of different floats. Different organizations have their floats going down there. We have the Hillsborough hike. School spirit is just it's crazy on Hillsborough Street during homecoming. Um, when we play Chapel Hill, big basketball games, big football games, you can just see school spirit all up and down Hillsborough Street. Our next question is best dorm setup in your opinion, especially for freshmen. I wouldn't say that there's a best for a best for every freshman. I would say that it just depends on your personal preference. So if you don't like living with a lot of people, you don't like having a big open space, I would say go to one of the motel styles or one of the suite styles. But if you don't like to share a bathroom with eight or ten other people, I would and you want to share with more, I would say go to the hall style. If you want to meet a lot more different people, I would say go to a hall style over a suite style. So it's really just a personal preference, and also where you want to live on campus. We don't have hall styles everywhere on campus. We don't have suite styles everywhere on campus. So if you want to stay close to your classes, then there's a certain type of dorm that you're gonna have to stay in. But if you want to stay on a different part of campus near dining halls, there's a different part of campus, a different type of dorms over there as well. So it's just a personal preference thing. Okay, our next question is tell us about the event on NCSU's campus where people build tent-like structures and camp out. What is that all about? So, what I think you're talking about, it deals with Habitat for Humanity. It's called Shackathon, and there are a lot of different organizations. So you build a shack. You have to raise the money yourself to get the wood. You have to find people to build it yourself, um, and then you have to have different events throughout the week to raise money. And then at the end of the week, I think it's like a 2 week ordeal. You have to stay in the shack for at least a week, and then there's fundraising after the fact, and whoever has the most funds at the end of the 2 weeks wins. And one thing about that, there has to be someone in the tent at all, or in the shack, excuse me, someone in the shack at all times, no matter what. And then at nighttime from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., there has to be two people in the shack at all times, for safety reasons and things like that. But I actually participated in Shackathon this year, and I had a great time. I didn't get to do it last year, but it's so much fun. You get to meet all the different organizations and see the type of games they play and all of that type of stuff. It's really fun. Okay, the next question is, what would you recommend for students interested in the scholars slash honors program, and what are the differences between the two? Uh, I guess the differences between the two, honors is really more geared towards like research, so kind of like an undergraduate research thing, while scholars is geared more towards enrichment. But they still have, research aspects and enrichment aspects, both of them together. And what I would recommend if you're interested is to get in contact with someone early, figure out when you need to apply by, because I believe you have to apply for honors. Actually, I think you have to apply for both of them. So make sure that you figure out when you need to apply by, and what materials you need to apply, and then make sure you know like what will you be doing throughout the school year. Just because it says honors and scholars, that it's yeah, it might be a good thing, but you might not like what you're doing. So just make sure that you know some of the different activities you'll be participating in throughout the year. Our next question is, are there a lot of park scholars on campus? Uh, I wouldn't say I don't know what you consider a lot, but I mean there are some of that. I know they don't accept a lot of people every year. I think it's about 45 to 50 a year that are accepted for that scholarship. Okay, next question is, what memorable scholarships did you receive for college that you would like to share with us? Uh, well, one of the it wasn't a huge scholarship, um, but it was from the people that I got it from. It was from a church that I used to go to. I don't go there anymore, and I still applied for the scholarship, and they still gave it to me. And now that I'm in college, they send me like a care package every month with like snacks and little notes that say just keep going, good job, we're proud of you, different things like that. So it's a pick me up or whenever I'm down or whenever I'm depressed or things like that. And I always look at that and I appreciate that a lot. Okay. No, that's a good question. Okay, our next question is, how many hours of free time would you say you have on an average day? Uh, well, my schedule is a little hectic, just because, I have a lot of organizations and I work and things like that. So, okay, so on an average day, I would say me personally, I would probably have about 3 hours of free time a day, like going up until 12 midnight. Let's say 12 midnight. From 12 to 12, I would say I probably have about 3 hours of free time of day per day, including sleep and all that type stuff. Which I think is a good thing because I love to stay busy. I don't like, sitting around all the time and saying, "Oh, I'm bored. I don't have anything to do." I like knowing I have to do this, this, and this, and then I like to go get it done. Our next question is, how many hours of studying do you spend on an average day? Well, I like to study. Let me say this. I like to try to study for every class every day. Obviously that doesn't happen all the time. Things change, schedules change. I would say I probably spend about mm, an hour to 2 hours per day studying on an average day. That's if I don't have a test coming up. If I have a test coming up, that's a whole different story. You have to go into your study mode and do your thing for 3 to 4 plus hours. If I have a test, that's what I like to do. Okay, our next question. This is a few questions, so let me go through and read this real quick. Do you have a lot of students from the Washington, D.C. area, and will they house a student with disability that require them to live by yourself? Are you from North Carolina? And if not, where are you from and do you miss home? Okay, first question. Do you have a lot of students from the DC area? Yes, we got a few from the DC area. One of my best friends, she's actually from DC. She says she knows a few people from DC. Yes, they will house a student with a disability that requires them to live by yourself. You just have to talk to disability services and then talk to housing, and they'll work that out for you. And yes, I am from North Carolina. I'm from Gastonia, North Carolina. It's about 2 hours, 2 hours and 30 minutes to 3 hours away from here. Yeah, I actually do miss home. I haven't been home since we got to school in August. I haven't been home since August, since I moved in. So yeah, Thanksgiving break is coming up next week, and I'm gonna be glad to go back home. Okay, our next question is, what was your top reason for choosing the university you would like to share with us? Okay, my personal top reason is because of my major, and also because when I came to visit the campus, I just fell in love with it. I major in sport management, and so a lot of schools don't actually have that program, which is is really something that I wanted to go into. So I decided to come here for that. And then I came on a visit one time with my mom, and we got lost all around campus. We didn't know where we were going, but we were just walking around, and I liked everything about the campus. It looked great during that time of year. I think it was actually during open house when we came. So it was around the fall time, and it looked amazing. It was wonderful. So I just knew that this was definitely the place that I needed to come. Our next question is it better to apply early admission if you're a strong student? I wouldn't say better or worse in either way.
Consideration for scholarships.
Um, but if you do apply early by a certain date, then you get considered for on-campus scholarships and grants and different things like that. So that's really the difference of applying early rather than applying later.
And none of the decisions are binding.
And also with that, none of our decisions are binding. So if you do decide to apply early, that's fine. But we don't bind you to your admissions decision at all. Okay, my next question is, where are you looking to go to law school? Um, well, I'm looking to go somewhere around the Raleigh area just because I think I'm really used to this area. So I would say, somewhere around Raleigh or Durham, maybe like North Carolina Central or Campbell has a law school around here. So, I'm still in the research process, but I would like to stay around Raleigh if possible. Our next question is, did you ap-
Early action or
did you
regular
apply
decision.
early action or regular decision? Um, I think I applied regular decision just because I was doing a lot of applications at the time, and I saw that some of them were binding, and then some of them weren't. So I was like, I'll just wait to do all of them around the same time. So I just did regular decision. Next question is, how confident do you feel NCSU has prepared you for the LSAT? Um, Well, I actually have not started studying for the LSAT yet, but with that being said, there are classes here on campus to where they will, you meet a certain amount of days per week or a certain amount of hours over the weekend or something like that. And it's a big classroom, and you all get to, get help with studying for the LSAT and different information. They'll give you information about that. And then, excuse me, with that, there at other schools, we have Meredith College right up the street, and there are also classes on their campus that we're able to participate in that'll prepare you for the LSAT as well. What other questions do we have? Okay, my next question is: have you lived on campus I guess, all my years? No, I lived on campus. So I'm a junior now, so it's my third year. So last year, my sophomore year, I lived on campus in Wolf Village, which is like apartment housing for There's a sophomore building, and then it's mainly for juniors and seniors, upperclassmen. And then my freshman year, I stayed in Bowen Hall, which is on Central Campus, one of the tri towers, one of the huge tall buildings you see when you come on campus, which is a suite style. So I shared a bathroom with, I think, I shared a suite with 10 other guys, or 9 other guys, excuse me. Next question is, how do you like Hunt Library? I love Hunt Library. But since a lot of my classes aren't really on Centennial, I don't really go to Hunt that often. If I go to Hunt, it's because some of my engineering buddies are like, "Hey, let's go do homework at Hunt Library" or stuff like that. But I think it's pretty cool. I like all the different colors they got in there, all the different gadgets and things like that. I just think it's amazing the technology that we have on this campus. I would say if you can visit Hunt Library and take a trip, take a tour through it, I would say definitely do it because it's worth it. Next question is study abroad. Have you had the opportunity to do so? No, I have not had the opportunity to study abroad. I know a few people who are going to study abroad. I think next semester, I think they're going to Spain. I would say that it's probably a great opportunity for you to participate in. If you want to go to another country, this is the best way to do it. It's on campus, it's through the university, so you're going to learn something in the process. You're not going to be out there by yourself. You'll have a professor with you that'll look out for you and different things like that. So this is the best time, if you want to take a trip anywhere. Next question is, how competitive is it to get into NC State as an in-state history major? Well, it's competitive to get into any NC State at any major. We're looking for, like I said, we're looking for a high GPA. We're looking for a high SAT, ACT scores, volunteer experiences. Um, so I wouldn't look at it as, oh, this major is harder than that major. I would look at it as, this is what I need to do to get into this university, and then go from there. Any questions? Any more questions?
Honestly, just, remind them at the last deadline and then direct them to our office if they have questions after today.
So let me remind you guys one more time that our last admissions deadline to apply is January the 15th. And then if you all have any more questions after today, then you can email us at undergrad-admissions at ncsu.edu. Or call our office here, undergraduate admissions office, and one of our counselors or representatives will be able to answer any question that you have.
We see it, but we can't give them up.
Okay, our next question is legacy status considered in admissions? We see it, but we're not able to give it a lot of weight. Like I said, we're looking for competitive students and not just, students whose family has came here or, their families have gone through this school a lot.
We don't get pre-health advising, but we don't have PT.
Our next question is, do you guys have a PT program? No, we do not have a PT program, but we have health advising program. Okay. Does our next question is, does state like in state more than out of state? We actually look at that the same. So we're looking at the same, requirements, GPA, all that stuff that I just said. We look at them exactly the same. Any more questions? Anything about campus or anything that you could think of? Okay, our next question is, how much does NCSU weigh recommendations and did you submit one? We look at them very little. I think I did submit one. I'm not sure, but we look at them very little. So don't think you absolutely have to have the best recommendation in order to get into here. Just I would say again, make sure you're competitive. Don't worry about recommendations as much. We're looking for competitive students who are going to make our university look really good.
Just say village.
Okay, our next question is I am. Our next question is: Are there any youth advocate groups on campus? Yes, we have the Say Village, which is it's a
Students advocating for youth.
students advocating for youth. So I would say go on the housing website, and under there's a link for living and learning villages, and it'll say the Say Village, and it'll give you contact information for someone you need to speak to, where they're housed, what different type of activities they participate in per year, how many students they would let into the living and learning villages, all that type of information. So definitely go on the NCSU website under housing and look for all that stuff. Next question is: How would you rate the busing provided by NCSU? I would say it's grade A. Our busing system is great. The drivers are great. They get you where you need to go. They're really friendly. So I would say if you take a bus somewhere, always thank the bus driver. For taking their time out of their day to drive us around campus and all that stuff. I'm sure they get tired of seeing the same thing all the time. But yeah, the busing, the Wolf Line is great. Like I said, it takes you between 5 to 10 miles. Outside of campus. So, if you need to take a trip somewhere or, if you stay off campus, you need to ride back to your apartment or something like that, the buses could possibly get you there, the Wolf Lawn buses. Next question deals with cars freshman year. It says, car freshman year or not a good idea? Um, it's really just a personal type thing. How we do parking, we do it by credits. So with that being said, a lot of incoming freshmen come in with little to no credits at all. So you're not gonna have the best parking. It's not like you're gonna be able to park right outside your dorm and walk outside of your car every day and park in the same spot. No, it's not like that. Really, we give the first people to be able to register for a parking permit are, I think, grad school students, employees, different things like that. So the more credits you have, the better parking permit on campus you would be able to get. And some people say it's good to have a car on campus. You can do what you need to do, and some people say it's not because a lot of people could ask for rides, things like that. So I would say that's definitely a personal preference question. Our next question is: How can I break it to my family of UNC Chapel Hill alumni that I want to go to NC State? Mm, that's a good question. I would say just be as honest with them as you can. I mean, if you want to go to this school, I would say come to the school. If you feel like this is the school for you, then it's your education. This is what you're worried about. This is what you're gonna do after you graduate, and it's gonna be the rest of your life. So I would say if this is something you want to do, I say go for it. Just tell them, just be honest. Next question is community student discounts. Um, One of the main discount that I know of around here would be at Zaxby's. If you present your student ID at Zaxby's, there's a couple deals that you will be able to get for cheaper. A lot of places will have events throughout the year to where if you let's say you bring your student ID, then you'll get like 10% off or something like that, or get a free coffee or something like that. So you just have to be on the lookout. I would say a great way for that is social media. We have, Facebook is big, Twitter is huge. That's how a lot of information gets passed around through social media on a college campus. So I would say come expecting to participate in social media in some form. And we also use that in classes as well. Some professors will put like blog posts on Facebook or Twitter or things like that just to kind of get you involved in different ways.
So just say, thanks for your time. Ask any other questions our way.
Thank you for your time. And if you have any other questions, send them to the undergraduate admissions office and we'll be able to answer that for you. Y'all have a good evening.